Oh. All right. So first off, any questions from homework stuff? Let me do this over here. A whole bunch. Okay. Let's get started. 10.1.
Just like the
10.1, number 60. Oh, okay. So this is the one, it says in the instructions to use absolute value notation. So it's reminding you of that if it needs to be done. Help me out real quick. What's the sixth root of a to the sixth power? It's a, sort of, a.
absolute value.
Okay, gotcha.
Why? Because it's an even root, and a could be negative. That's when you need absolute values. Now, what's the cube root of a cubed?
It's
A. Absolute value is wrong. Because what's the cube root of negative 8? What's the cube root of negative 8? What's the cube root?
absolute value of A.
What's the cube root of negative 8? Negative 2. Could the answer to a cube root be negative? Well, yeah, we just did one that came out negative. So if you put absolute values around the cube root answer, you are wrong. The answer has to come out to be whatever the sign is. Cubes, when you cube something, what kind of sign could the answer have? Positive or negative? That's why when you cube root something that's going to undo it, you better get back to the actual number you started with. But even roots can't have negative outputs. That's why they need an absolute value sometimes. Odd roots, they're laid back. They're like, whatever you want to be. You guys get that?
So the number in the outside of the root is called the root? I thought that was,
This is called the index,
okay.
but this is the sixth root, right? This is the sixth root. This is the third root. But officially, the name of this is the index. Yeah.
What if the index is negative?
I love that question. We're not going to look through that. Right. The root, in fact, it wouldn't make sense if it was 1. What, say again?
It's on the homework.
It's on
the
the-
negative on the outside and
I think it's fifth.
No. Which one? I love you guys.
How would I find it? I'm not-
All right, now watch. This, blah, blah, blah,
And it'll be a
is
negative
not
outside.
this. They're not the same thing. This doesn't make any damn sense. The index cannot be negative.
So what does that mean?
What does this mean?
Yeah.
Do that, and then change the
Add
sign.
negative.
Well, what if it's a negative on the inside?
All right,
Turn it
all right,
positive?
all right, all right.
You see my, you see
Can I,
my-
let me,
Okay, I'm
of
sorry.
course I do. Give me a second. Let me answer your first question. This is building us up. So the actual question is this. Fourth root of something to the fourth power. What would that be?
Absolute value.
You guys are overthinking it.
Absolute value of
Yes. The fourth root and the fourth power kill each other, but the answer can't be negative. Why does the 8 not change? Because I got 4 of them. The fourth root and the fourth power kill each other, leaving you with whatever this is. Right? So the sixth root of anything to the sixth power is the absolute value of that thing. So what's the sixth root of 7xyz squared w to the 8th to the sixth power? What is that? Absolute value of all that shit, right?
Yes.
These kill each other. The answer can't be negative, so just to be safe. Now, some of those don't need an absolute value, but I don't care. There's too much shit in there to
But
worry about.
you'd still have the roots? Yeah?
Say again?
The root symbols in the, over the square root, the
So it's a sixth root
Yeah.
of something to the sixth power. These kill each other.
Yeah, then that's z and w to the second and to the eighth.
Of course. Of course. Because what does this say? The sixth root of anything to the sixth power is the absolute value of that thing. This is the sixth root of this thing to the sixth power, so the answer is the absolute value of that thing. There were
It
6 of
wouldn't
them.
be
Parentheses.
Yeah, but you wouldn't absolute value those, that 2 and the 8?
They are. Well, you don't have to. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it would be 1, 4.
I wouldn't take points off for this. But the actual answer that you really need is this, because what's true about z squared and w8, they can't be negative, so you don't really need to put them as values.
Okay.
But putting them in doesn't hurt anything.
Alright.
They're positive already, so absolute values can be like, I ain't got shit to do. Right?
Gotcha.
Okay, and number 75.
Okay. I love you guys.
Oh, different.
75. All right, now wait a minute. What was the question you were asking though just a minute ago? Was it different?
That one came from number 90 when it got to do the domain thing with it. And I was getting to,
Oh,
I was getting to a point where I got like the negative on
okay, I'm with you. We'll do that in a minute. So, all right, there's one like that on, see 1C right up there? Okay, now watch. So I'm going to do one like both of those. Okay, now help me out real quick. If I had this, is that just this? Is this okay? Think. How do I square anything? I write it twice, right? How do I square anything? I write it twice. If I FOIL this, do I get that? No. What are exponents based on? What operation are they based on? What operations are exponents based on? Multiplication. Is this multiplication? No, so they will not play well together. If it was AB squared, that's freaking A squared, B squared all day long. Because it's the operation it's based on. It's like, oh cool, I can just go across. This I have to write twice and then FOIL it. What is this missing? The middle freaking term, right? You missed this guy. Right? You can't distribute powers across addition or subtraction because that's not what they're based on. So why the shit can I distribute this 3 across here? Because coefficients are based on addition. What does 3x mean? X plus x plus x. Is that addition? Yes. It will play well with it then. So then I can just 3x plus 12. Yeah, I can distribute because it's the operation that the thing is based on. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
For the AB top, isn't it supposed to be AB, parenthesis AB, parenthesis AB?
Sure. I love it. And what do you get when you multiply AB times AB? A squared, B squared, right? There's no foiling because there's no plus or minus. So why do I have to FOIL when there's a plus or minus? Because powers don't go across plus and minus. They don't play well with them because that's not what they're based on. Does that make sense? But that just makes sense and you won't make this kind of mistake. I got my calculus students doing this. Tears come out. I'm like, this should be beaten out of you before now. Yes?
So if the number's in front of the parentheses, that's when you distribute?
Because what are coefficients based on? What's 3x mean? X plus x plus x. So yeah, this will just totally just distribute. Very easy. Why? Because that's the operation this is based on. Can I distribute that here just as nicely? No, because that's not the operation this is based on. Why is this one more? Because that is the operation that's based on. You guys see how sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't, and that's when your brain goes, math doesn't make any damn sense. But you gotta think about why you can do things sometimes and sometimes not. How we doing? I know it's painful to really think about it instead of just having somebody go, you always do this shit, you always do this shit. You got to see why it makes sense. So here, what is a square root? Didn't we learn that? Now, please don't rewrite this for this problem, but just on the side. Do you see how that's a 1/2 power? Remember that? We talked about that. A square root, some of your eyebrows went up. It was a long time ago, yesterday, that we learned that the square root of x can be written as x to the 1/2. Because what's the square root do to something? Cuts it in half multiplicatively. So 1/2 in the spot based on multiplication makes total freaking sense. Okay, like you remember that? So that's a root is a power then. It's just another way to write a power. So can I just do the square root of each one of these? Which would mean just distribute the 1/2. No, we just talked about that. A power can't distribute across minus and plus because that's not what they're based on. So I can't just go x minus 2x plus 2 and not worry about the x and do some weird shit. No, I can't do that. So what kind of thing on the inside can I do a power distribution, multiplication?
Yeah, isn't it going to be x minus 2 to the second power?
Yeah, it'll be x minus 2, which is x minus 2 squared.
Yeah.
Now I've got it written as multiplication, right? The square root and the square kill each other. But the answer is going to be...
X minus 2. Okay.
That's exactly how that 1C is going to work. All right, yes?
Could you have factor of it?
We did.
You did? Okay.
That's, yeah, fact, multiply 4 and add to be -4, -2, -2. Yeah. But then you can write that as that thing squared. Like it. Yes.
Number 36.
Is that, let me make sure. Did that answer the question right? Yes. Say again?
36 on the same page.
And then I gotta look at 90. Okay. 36, is that the one where you just plug stuff in? The P
Yeah.
of Z? So that 36 is where they give you P of Z. Did you have a problem with the specific part of that?
I just wanted to see how it's.
Well, I mean, how does any function work? If they ask me what P of 12 is, what would I do? How do I do this? Replace Z with 12 the way that they did. So replace Z with 12 and then work it out. That's all.
Then,
Sometimes the answer for these might be no real number,
yeah.
right?
Is that one?
So like P of, let's see, what's the good one? P of 2 would be square root of 2 times 2 minus 20, which is square root of 4 minus 20, which is square root of negative 16. Can you do that? Not yet. That's not real. So the answer might be not real for some of those, of course. Yeah. Just like the answer might be undefined if you get something over 0. It's the same type of thing. I like it. Okay, maybe. Okay. So let's look at number 90.
The number, we do negative 62.
Say it again.
The one that has negative 62.
Oh, okay. This one is g of x equal to negative cube root of 2x minus 1, is that right? Yeah. So let's see. If you haven't done this one yet, try to do g of negative 62. Negative on the outside of something, you never let that bother you. You do this, and then you change its sign. That's all it says, right? It says cube root that shit, and then change the sign of it. That's all it says. So try to do negative 62. Some guys look at it, you do it in your head. That's interesting, I like that. Oh, some guys got the calculator going, which sucks. So you do it and say some piece of technology do it. So negative cube root 2 times negative 62 minus 1.
Negative 124.
Yeah, negative 124 minus 1. Negative 125, that should look familiar. We looked at the cubes yesterday. 125, the cube root of 125 is? Yeah, so the cube root of negative 125 is negative 5. So that's that, right? Is that? And then the negative's on the outside. So negative negative 5 is?
5.
Do you see that? Ease. Yes.
So when there's a minus or whatever in the front,
You do it last.
You do it last, yeah.
Because what's the order of operations say? Do inside stuff first,
Huh.
right? So in this case, that negative is the last thing I worry about.
But the only way that it can be negative inside the root is if we have an odd,
Beautiful. That's the only way we can get a real answer.
is if it's odd on the
If there's
outside.
a negative inside a root, it's got to be an odd
Odd on the outside.
index, an odd root.
Okay, yeah, that's, okay, gotcha.
Sweet. And again, just please, I've already said it many times, I'm not going to say it. Remember why that makes sense. Yes.
So, homework corrections are due.
The day of the final.
Okay.
Yeah. I want you keeping up with current homework. That's the most important thing. Okay. Anything else from homework stuff?
One more. What about the when it has like, so number 110, it's like 5 subtract and then it's 4 root.
Oh, okay. All right, now watch. All right. I'm going to do one like that. I'm going to build it up to that point. Help me out. Who remembers how to do the Nice easy one here. What's the domain of that? Let me make it a function. Bam. Domain. What must be true about the inside?
Greater than or equal to 0.
Greater than or equal to 0. So whatever's on the inside of the root, it must be greater than or equal to 0. Now, is everybody cool with that? That's not going to change if I put 3 minus that plus 7. If I put a 4 on the outside. What's inside the root? X minus 1. What must be true about the thing inside the even root? Got to be at least 0. So all the other shit on the outside doesn't mean a damn thing. It's sort of like this. Watch. If I had 4x minus 7 plus the square root of 11 minus 2 over x. What's the domain of that? What's the only piece that has a problem? No, square root of 11 is a number. There's no way that could be anything except, who cares about that? What's the only piece that has a problem with a certain value of x? Yes, the 2 over x. And what can x not be? 0. Do I give a shit about this stuff? No. If x is 0, that's the part that freaks out. Any other x, everybody's cool, of course. So you only focus, in this case, if there's a radical somewhere in your shit, you just worry about the inside of that root if it's a even root. So what's the domain of this one? How do you do that? You don't have to do any work, because what kind of root is it? What kind of root is it? Odd root. They can handle anything.
So is 7x minus 1 absolute value?
No.
No.
I'm not saying to simplify it, because I can't do that, because I can't take the fifth root of 1, 7x minus 1. If it was to a fifth power, I could do something. And then I wouldn't need absolute values, because it's an odd root. What's the domain of this? All real numbers. All real numbers. Why? It's an odd root. Didn't we just do the cube root of negative 8 earlier? Can't I do the odd roots of negatives? Yes. All right. Let me really throw this in your face. What's negative 2 to the first power? All right, I love it. You guys are like, that's got to be tricky. What's negative 2 squared? 4. What's negative 2 cubed? Negative 8. What's negative 2 to the fourth? Positive 16, right? Do you see how all the odd ones keeps the sign the same? So what's the cube root of negative 8? Negative 2. I can go right back, right? Well, what's the fourth root of negative 16? It's not negative. I can't, shit. Do you guys see that? It's just because if I raise a real number to an even power, it will always come out positive. So I can't do even roots of negative numbers. It won't be real then. Does that make sense? Okay. So odd roots, laid back. They're like, whatever, dude. Whatever you want. Even roots, oh shit, I can't come out negative. I can't have negatives inside me or I become all this freaky shit. Even roots, very uptight. Odd roots. Roots, odd roots. Yes.
So if something did come out like that with even roots but with a negative, it would be called undefined?
Not real.
Or not real?
Yeah, it's not undefined. We just don't know the definition. It's totally defined. But we know it's not real. It's not any number we've talked about officially so far. At the end of this section, on the next test, we'll talk about all the other numbers that you never get to see until you get to a certain level, which is stupid, but oh. Okay. Anything else from homework stuff? All right, so let's do this. We started doing this yesterday, right? Didn't you guys start working on this yesterday?
Yeah.
I don't know how far you guys. I don't know how far you guys smarter. I'll give you a few more minutes to kind of work on that some more, and then we'll do it together.
I don't think I got that.
Oh, where did I put them at?
You definitely did.
Oh, up here.
I don't have the. I know, bro.
Let me know if you need that sheet.
Probably did, but I just forgot.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah. I think I'll have it. There's Josh for a second. Somewhere here. Oh, word.
You know, I wanna ask my friend, cause
I forgot
like,
it.
he's like super high in math, but like,
I'll give you a few minutes to work on that.
Yeah, can I get that? I forgot.
cause like, shit, I'm like,
You need one?
I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be amazing if you guys work together. But you don't. I love how quizzes you all are. Can we work with other people? And now I'm letting you work with other people that I don't work with.
So,